Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday Night Popcorn. This is Jason.
And this is Kai, and we have another great discussion for you today. The movie of the day is Battlefield Earth. It's from 2000. It's old enough to drink. It's not as old
Yep.
as Jason and I, but it's up there. Um, but yeah, we'll get into it.
It's part of Bad Movie Month, and this one is
Yeah,
the
this
top
is
contender.
this definitely takes the cake so far. Like I wasn't a big fan of Much Ado About Nothing, but this one for sure is a stinker.
So, all right. So, right before we started this conversation, we were talking about that this Battlefield Earth is based off a book by the founder of the religion Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard. And so there's that part of it where it's like, and supposedly the book is way longer, or the story within the book is way longer than what we saw in the movie.
The
So
movie
there
was
was
2 hours.
opportunity for more sequels afterwards.
Thank goodness they didn't. Like that was 2 hours. I'm mad that I wasted.
Oh my
Like
god, yeah, it was boring.
it
It was like I was
dragged.
sitting there, I was like, I this is the first time I was looking at my phone while
Oh, I
listening
left.
to what was going on.
Yeah, I left the room. I was like, oh, I have to cook right now in the middle of the movie. So I'm like, nothing's really happening. What am I sitting here for?
Yeah, like Patty and I have like the top tier of movie that we like totally stopped watching was Aquaman. Like
Oh
halfway through it,
wow.
Patty was like, "I'm done. I'm not watching this movie anymore."
Yeah.
I wanted to do that to this, but I had to. I had to watch it. I had to
That was
stick
so
with it for the 2 hours.
that's how I felt too. Like I'm like, I want to turn this off. Like I will watch damn near anything, TV show wise, movie wise. Like I'll plow through and be like, okay, I'll watch it. This was one of those ones where I was like, what am I watching this for? And I almost turned it off, but I was like, oh no, we have to talk about this on a podcast. So I can't not finish it.
I don't know. I think about the there's John Travolta and Lawrence
Yes.
Fishburne,
Yes.
uh, and some other people.
Homeboy from
But
Sons of Anarchy too. He always plays that
oh, that
same like side
oh,
character.
that is true.
Always
Yeah,
plays that same character.
yeah, creepy kind of like that
In
can't
the
blow up
in the
a glass dome.
shadows. Yeah. Always a creep.
But I was just thinking, like, it's like more so. It's like we're watching it. It's like, all right, we have to like dredge through this for 2 hours. But those people had to like
Film it for
convince
months.
themselves, like, hey, let's keep filming this. Like, I
Oh
still have to
goodness.
play this role. And I don't know. I just think of like, I wonder what
And
the hell was
getting
going on.
makeup on too. Oh, that was a
Makeup,
nightmare. I did enjoy
walking
the
on
makeup.
stilts. Did
Oh yes, yeah.
it's not bad. It wasn't bad, but it's like I'm like, all right,
Like
whatever.
compared to everything else in the movie, I was like, the makeup's not horrible.
That's the thing
Oh,
where
oh, my bad. It looks bad. It was well done. Like whoever did it well. It just didn't look. Yeah, so I take that back.
I'm trying to like think of what could you believe is like the good thing? Like what's a good thing that you take away from this? Like the makeup? I'm
I
trying
would
to
say the
think.
makeup, and then bless you.
Ooh.
Uh, I did like the opening scene. It like the opening establishing shot reminded me of 2001, where they open and you see like the monkeys jumping around. Like that scene with the mountains and everything. That kind of reminded me of that. That was about it.
I was like the thing I wrote down at the end, and it came at the very end. I was like, the one good thing that they did was blew up the the home planet of these aliens. I was like, that's
I
all I
had
could have done.
I just had more questions than anything. Like, why was John Travolta's group of people like their hands were animal hands, but they called the people that were dressed like cave people, they called them man animals. That
Yeah,
was confusing. Uh, why did the man animals revert back to cavemen or caveman
that was
style
I wrote
dress?
that down. That was the first thing. Like, is that realistic that they will like people will revert back to
Yeah,
cave people?
I just had more questions than anything. Like all this advancement with the flying, like the planes and everything they had, and then they have all these people acting as if they're cavemen. It's like for real.
Yeah, And so they're alien people that are like
Yeah.
conquering planets, and they use planets for like resources and stuff. Um, but yeah, it was very confusing, and it's like,
Yeah.
and some of the acting, you're like,
It's
you can
horrible.
tell everyone's just like really calling it in, or just
Yeah.
like, all right, whatever. Like, John Travolta's not good in it, and we've seen John Travolta a little bit better than this in most films. Everybody just does not like, everything does not make sense. There was one portion in the movie, they when that like politician or whatever, he came and visited Earth and
Hmm.
told John Travolta like, oh, you have like a transfer, right? And then he like
Oh
basically just
yeah.
screws him over and says like,
Yep.
well, we're gonna keep you here indefinitely.
Yep.
So he travels back to the homeworld. So they have a whole sequence of like them showing him show up through that teleporter at the homeworld, and then they don't do anything about that. Nothing
No,
happens. I was like,
it
once
just
you
happened.
go there and stay there a little longer and show
Yes.
them like kind of interacting with their own people.
There was like, nah. He said what he needed to say. He's gone.
Yeah,
So
like,
I
all
have a
right,
question for you.
yeah.
How many passes does John Travolta get? Because he's made some great movies, but he's also made some stinkers. And I'm
I don't
like,
know. It's like, if you think about it, like there's a lot of people out there that make some pretty big stinkers, and we just kind of
true.
keep it. Like Adam Sandler was one of them until Uncut Gems came out. You're like, is this guy even acting still? But
No, but he had 50 first
Uncut Gems,
dates. Like he's
but that was
he's had
before. So it's like, I was like, and
true.
then he went like what 10, 15 years of Netflix garbage, and then Uncut Gems comes out, and
Oh
then
no, I thought that was
somehow
like
he's like,
around the same time. I thought like the Netflix stuff was kind of like in the mix of all of that. Because we
what,
had
51st Dates?
we had
No,
50 First Days like
Fifty
early
First Dates is like a long
2000s.
time ago.
Yeah, that was like early 2000s, and then we had Just Go With It, which I love. That was mid 2000s. And then Grown Ups came out, Grown Ups 2, Longest Yard, that was all like early 2000s. When did he start making those stinkers? Because I was living in San Jose when that Magnificent Seven or Magnificent Six or whatever that piece of shit was. And
That
that
one,
was in
yeah.
that was when he was doing Netflix movies. So that was like 2012, 2013, maybe. Okay, so you're
So
right.
yeah,
Yeah, Uncut Gems is
basically,
after that.
like, yeah, Uncut Gems came out in like 2019 or something. But it was like pretty much everyone was trying to think like Adam Sandler, just kind of like, he's raking it in with all these Netflix movies for
Yeah.
some reason. And so he's just called it a day. And that's fine. I'm totally
Yeah.
fine with that. But then Uncut Gems comes out, and he's like phenomenal and
Yeah.
everything. And so I don't
Hustler
know, where
too.
it's like, yeah. So with John Travolta, I don't know. I think just because he has a pretty face, everyone just kind of forgets about him.
Because he went like, I think before I watched some like mini doc from Tarantino talking about Pulp Fiction, and he was saying that Pulp Fiction is what revitalized his career. And then what happened after that? Like, I don't even remember what movies he was really in after that. Well, he was in this piece of shit. And
Look who's talking too.
Be Cool
Uh,
was horrible. Hairspray I never
Be
watched, so I can't talk
Cool.
about that. Be Cool had a bunch of actors and actresses in it, and it was terrible.
So yeah.
So I
So
don't know. That man gets
I
passes.
guess people should reevaluate John Travolta's like filmography and really question whether or not he's.
Yeah. Like Grease is great, Pulp Fiction is great, um, Blow Out is great. He has some good ones, but then he also has some stinkers.
Yeah, but this one is like a big hit and miss, where it's like,
This was
what the
bad.
hell was happening? That like the transitions, or like the
Oh
trans where
goodness.
like it grew from the middle. I
Hmm.
was like, I know, I use DaVinci Resolve, and I suck at using DaVinci Resolve, but I think I could do a better job than what they were doing.
One of my gripes was like the close-ups. Like, there was a moment when Johnny, the main character, was like falling down a cliff, and like you see Johnny, they have him framed in the him in the frame, and then they cut to the grass. It's like Johnny already fell down, he's out of the frame, and then they just show the grass, and they're like, I don't care about their grass. Yeah,
All
just
slow motion
bad.
shots too. Like
Yeah,
everything turns into slow motion, where it's like, all right, like we know the Matrix kind of came around, and like everyone was like really interested in slow motion, but
yeah.
this is like it
This
doesn't
didn't do it
add
right.
anything to the movie. Doesn't I don't know. It's it's kind of weird to know like that someone paid for this.
Mm-hmm.
Someone actually tried their best as you would believe. Someone gave the college try of like I'm the director, I'm the cinematographer, I wrote
Mm-hmm.
it. But then looking at what they did afterwards, the directors did nothing afterwards.
Oh
Some of the
no,
writers have done nothing. So a lot of them have done nothing afterwards. So it's like,
this movie just ruined their
were
career.
you were you even like I think the director, the reason why I think maybe he was given a director role was he's like famous for like being an art director for Star Wars.
Oh, you
So
can tell
I don't know
based
if
on
that
like watching that.
yeah, I don't know if that gives you the opportunity to be a director, but
That gives you the golden ticket.
I,
That's the golden
I
ticket.
guess so.
Like
I don't know.
there was a moment that's my favorite. Like I don't think I'll ever forget this moment, but I think it's Travolta on Earth with Johnny. He has his gun out and he shoots a cow. And when he shot the cow's leg just flies off. That was my favorite scene of the entire movie. Because it's so just like, really? They just threw a leg somewhere after they shot a cow? Like, come on.
It kind of like when I was watching it, like this movie, I think like heavily depended on CGI,
Hmm.
and it I'm assuming back when this movie came out, it didn't look very good at that time, so it
Yeah.
makes it look even worse currently, and
Yes.
so it's like I guess that kind of shows you that like even like you're looking at movies like Marvel that they're producing. If you rely too much on CGI, your movie kind of gets outdated within like a year or two.
Hmm.
So it's kind of hard to justify. Like, do you really want to kind of use CGI or like is practical effects? Alien looks good because
Yeah.
it's a lot of practical effects
Practical.
and everything like that. So
You got to find
I
that
don't know.
that balance of like practical and CGI. Because if you rely heavily on CGI, like if you do practical, you're good for the most part. But if you rely heavily on CGI, it just does not work because of the advancement in technology.
Yeah, we saw it with like the early episodes of Star Wars where it's like I don't, like it went into the digital age of
Hmm.
episodes 1, 2, 3, and looking back on those, you're like, all right, like I'd rather watch the original trilogy and
Yeah,
then
all the
those look
practical
better.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it's very hard to find something positive with this movie.
yeah.
Like
Like I said, the costumes and makeup, possibly.
I was gonna say, like people like we talked about it previously, where it's like we saw another bad movie where it's like do they show this to film school students? And then it's
Mm.
more so is there an assignment that says pitch us an idea, like give us an elevator pitch, or give us like what are those things where like they like draw like little scenes and stuff like storyboarding
Oh, storyboarding. Yeah,
of like what you would do differently to make this a positive movie, like how would you do it?
yeah. They would have
and
to change
and
this
even
entire
myself,
movie.
I know, even myself, I'm
Like,
like what would you do? Like you would have to kind of just throw it all out and just start
hmm,
over.
yeah. Let's just start fresh. No reshoots. Just start fresh. Because
I
yeah,
wonder
they
if anybody's like
just.
thought about it. Like nowadays, like someone like does someone pitch like Battlefield Earth like a
I
reboot like
hope
every
not.
once in a while?
This is one of the ones you leave in a vault. Like, hey, we did it. It didn't do so well. Let's just not reboot it. Because Hollywood loves to reboot. We don't need a reboot of this.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that someone paid for this. And
Yes.
it's like I was like reading the Wikipedia and stuff about this movie, and supposedly like one of the production companies or whatever, like they sued them, the people making the film
Uh
because
huh.
they believed that they like overinflated the cost of the movie. So they were asking for more money than what was actually like given and everything like
Goodness.
produced with this money. And so they were like, no, like we gave you extra millions of dollars and like we got
Yeah.
this in the mail. Someone
Just
must have shit their
lawsuits.
pants. I'm like, what is this?
I would be pissed because a lot of films they do like the watch before it's released to get like the critics or to get the people's view on it. I wonder what the feedback was if they did those, because I know they do it for most movies, but I don't think they do it for all movies. I wonder if they knew they had a stinker and they were like, hey, let's just not show this until we just put it in the theaters, or how that went
Yeah,
down.
and it's like I would question that really heavily, where it's like, you don't want to show it to us until we put it out, like.
Yeah, like, are you sure? Like, are we watching the same 2 hour movie? Like, oh,
I don't know what you end up rating the movie. It, like I
ooh,
had trouble rating it because I wasn't
yeah.
able to give it no stars.
You're not? Yeah, you just don't. You just say you watched it. Just don't put a rating. That's your
Yeah,
rating.
but like I want to be able to like make sure someone knows I gave this 0 stars,
Put that in the
and not
notes.
that
I
I
gave
just
this a
forgot to
0.
rate it.
Nah, I gave
Yeah,
this
like
0. I didn't waste my time.
yeah, but I was trying to put that in Letterboxd, but like
Hmm.
you give it 0 stars, it
Yeah.
just shows up as like you never rated it and stuff. So it's like,
You just got to
yeah,
put it
I
in the
want to be able
comments
to
like,
like make a
never watch
distinction
this.
that someone knows I watched this and this one sucked.
Maybe half a star. Give it a Chris
Yeah, I
Rock.
thought about that. Yeah,
But it deserves
I
0 stars. I think we just have to just put a bunch of comments on the film. Never watch this. Don't
and which is
reboot
funny,
this.
the the uh the rating or like the average rating on Letterboxd is like
Okay.
1.3.
Mm,
So someone out there gave it, or multiple people out there gave it a 1 star. So
yeah.
I guess if you can find something like if you are into like sci-fi, uh, Battlestar Galactica, like you're really reaching. Like, oh, if you like this, you might like Battlefield Earth, because it's like I don't know who you would recommend this to.
I
Anybody
wouldn't
that's a John
recommend it.
Travolta fan, maybe.
Mm-mm. I wouldn't recommend this to my enemy because it's too. If it was okay, if it was an hour 20, if they cut out all the BS, all the random shots of grass in the sky, like the unnecessary shots, and cut this movie down to like an hour 20, then I'd be like, hey, it's bad, but check it out if you're into sci-fi. For someone to have to watch 2 hours, I couldn't recommend it at all.
I think so too. Yeah, it's just way too long,
Mm-hmm.
and like I had to rent this movie, and I was trying not to make that like alter my like observation of this movie,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that I had to spend $3 to rent
Yeah,
this movie, I was like,
and you can't
I
get
was
your
like, I
money
did
back.
not. Yeah, you can't get your money
You'd be
back.
like, hey, this
It's
is a
there
piece of
for
shit.
like
Give me my
two
money.
days, reminding me that I rented
Oh,
it. I have
it's
an
like, I'm
email
sorry.
in my inbox that says I rented this freaking
You
movie.
rented Battlefield Earth. You know they're gonna ask you to rate it too. Like, what did you think of
Yeah.
the movie? Like,
Amazon was like, we're just about to delete that thing now. If someone wants to rent
we
it.
almost just tossed it away.
Yeah, someone had to run down the hallway with a thumbstick, like someone
Someone
rented
rented it.
it.
The one person.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I would say no one watch this. That's my
yes,
recommendation. If you
yes,
want to watch it for 2 hours and just like torture yourself, not really torture yourself, but like you just want to see what a bad movie looks like, this is it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I
yeah.
I would have a better experience watching Doom than this thing.
Yeah, Doom was way better than this. Doom was
Yeah.
bad, but Doom was better than this. At least you got to see The Rock with his shirt off. Like,
Yeah. There you go.
yeah.
All right, Kai, you want to take us out?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Saturday Night Popcorn. I'm Kai.
And I'm Jason, and we'll be back next week for another one. And please let us know if you've seen this movie. Please let us know in the comments if you've seen this movie and how good or bad it was.
Yeah.
And please subscribe to Saturday Night Popcorn, our YouTube channel.